We're back at our mountain test course with the all-new 2024 Lexus GX550 Overtrail. Can this compete against the Land Rover Defender and the Ineos Grenadier? We're going to find out right now on Driving Sports TV. In the last few months, we've tested the big guns of the luxury SUV category at our mountain test course. The Land Rover Defender 110 struggled a little bit. It did get through the midsection of the Anaconda, but there was a fair amount of rubbing. We also took the Ineos Grenadier Fieldmaster out there, and because it did not have lockers, those are an option which were not on the vehicle we were testing, we had to do it in reverse. Today we're going to see just how far we can get with the new 2024 Lexus GX550 Overtrail. This is the off-road ready edition of Lexus's popular midsize SUV. Can this make it up the Anaconda? We're about to find out. Under the hood is a 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6 engine. This produces a peak 349 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to a 10-speed automatic transmission with a Torsen-based full-time four-wheel drive system. EPA rates economy at 17 miles to the gallon in town and 21 miles to the gallon on the highway. Towing capacity is just over 9,000 pounds. The Overtrail comes standard with extra underbody protection, recovery points, mid and rear lockers, plus the multi-terrain select and crawl control systems. It also has a new version of the Kinetic Dynamic Suspension System, or EKDSS. The wheels are 18-inch alloys wrapped in 33-inch Toyo Open Country all-terrain tires. And even though the spec sheet does say these are 33-inch tires, you have to keep in mind that not all 33s are the same size. These ones actually measure out to around 31.5, so not quite at 33. Ground clearance is a decent, but not fantastic, 8.9 inches. The Overtrail trim starts at $69,250 US, including destination. And yes, this is significantly cheaper than the Land Cruiser First Edition I just bought, but that is a subject for another video. Now is a perfect time to talk about our sponsor of this video, Onyx Off-Road. If you're looking for adventure roads and trails in your area, I recommend getting a membership to Onyx Off-Road. This is a very powerful tool that can help you find an adventure that is safe for your vehicle while challenging for you as a driver. They have everything from an easy 1 out of 10 fire road all the way to a 10 out of 10 sheer vertical rock climb. You can find it with Onyx Off-Road. And in fact, we've used Onyx Off-Road to plan some of our best off-road adventures. On the desktop, it has powerful routing and annotation tools, connected to your vehicle with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto for hands-free use while driving. Upgrade to an Elite membership for full access to property line information, so you know if you're going to be crossing through private or public lands to get to your destination. Right now, you can save 20% off your membership with the discount code DSTV. That's an abbreviation for Driving Sports TV. Your membership also helps support our channel. Now let's see what this GX can do on our first trail, the Rattler. Of course, we've already done a couple other videos with this Lexus GX. So if you want to know about like cargo capacity and all that stuff, hunt those down right here on our YouTube channel. Today, it's all about the off-road capability of this vehicle and how well it matches against the more expensive competition. It is very hot out here today at our mountain test course. It's dry, hasn't rained in weeks, so everything's going to be kind of dry and loose. Now, my biggest concerns today aren't really the tires, because this comes with, a decent set of all-terrain tires. But really what my concern is going to be is clearances. I feel like we're gonna rub some stuff. We're going to start with the Rattler because this is our basic course. It's covered in rocks, and this is going to help both see how well the suspension deals with rough surfaces at low speeds. I'm going to look for head toss here. Also, clearances. Are we going to hit any of these rocks down the middle? Let's see. Now, I'm not going to do anything special here. I am going to put the vehicle in MTS Auto, which is just Multi-Terrain Select Auto, and then I'm going to keep it in 4 high. Because this has a torsion center diff, that means that it's a proper 4-wheel drive system and it can push power front to back as necessary. I don't have to go into a 4-wheel drive mode. Also, this is predominantly a 60% rear, 40% front power distribution. That's the nominal power distribution. Again, it is kind of variable all the time, but that's, if nothing else, that's usually what we'll get. So that means that this is typically a rear bias setup. Right, so MTS Auto, let's do this. Just gonna roll, listen for any bumping. Nothing so far. Detecting grass and keeps turning on the cameras. It's because I have auto cameras on. And the camera system is pretty good on this vehicle. Oh, yeah, there was something. Got a little bump. So overall, that was pretty good, actually. I had very little head toss, and I feel like clearances were kind of okay. Of course, we can lock the center diff, and we can also lock the rear, but we're not going to do that yet. We're going to save that for a little later. We go. Oh yeah, nice, easy, so good. With that first run out of the way, now we're going to head on to some stuff that's actually a little bit more challenging. It's on to the Sidewinder. Here we're going to start testing out the features, and the first feature we're going to use is called the Hill Descent Control System. This has two kind of autopilot off-road systems. One is the hill descent system, the other is the crawl control. They are the same button on here on the control console. It is DAC if you're in 4 high. If you're in 4 low, it automatically applies crawl. The difference being that DAC is a brake-only system for going downhill. Crawl adds throttle into the equation, both for uphill and downhill, and it also mixes in the multi-terrain select functionality, which means that you have really good traction control systems kicking in. Okay, so now we're going to go down the hill here. DAC, let's turn that on. It is on. I can use the mode select dial here to pick the speed that I'm going to go. Let's start with 2, which is the slowest speed. One thing I really like about DAC is it grabs immediately. If you're in like one of those mainstream crossovers, be it a Subaru, a Hyundai, anything like that, when you let off the brake, let's just turn this off for a second. We'll now turn it back on. If you enable that system for the first time in one of those vehicles and you're heading downhill, when you release off of the brake, you get a free roll of an entire tire rotation usually, which is like 3 to 5 feet, which can be dangerous because you're actually accelerating as you're doing that before the braking system kicks in. But on this system, I'm going to release the brake now. Instantly engaged the whole way down. It's very nice. Let's turn it all the way to super slow. And there we go. Okay, well that was just a fun thing. I don't actually use DAC much myself, but we are going to use, oh, found the clearance. Yikes. Up and out. Thank goodness for skid plates. Okay, here's where we're going to start to actually put this system to the test. We have a series of moguls, left and right, plus a tabletop and a very steep climb out. So this is our first really kind of complicated section. I want to show you just how capable the multi-terrain select system is. This is a brake vectoring system that shifts power from left to right as needed. It has a torsion then center diff to shift the power front to back and back to front. But MTS itself is a brake vectoring system only, and it's really good in this vehicle. Now you might have heard of A-Track, which is an older version. That's kind of like a sledgehammer version. MTS allows you to dial in very specific programs. So like for example, I can use this mode selector and pick between dirt, sand, mud, and deep snow while I'm in 4 high. But I'm just going to use 4 auto for this because I don't think most people really want to think too much about what they're doing. And you'll see those brakes kicking in to help push the vehicle forward. Oh, it's not doing it. Huh. Wow. Oh, MTS. It's not getting it. It's trying though. Okay, let's go ahead and stop for a moment. At this point, I don't want to tear up the trail too much, so I'm going to go ahead and lock the center, and let's see what that does. That'll distribute power evenly front to back. I know it's a side-to-side issue here. I just wanted to see how that changes. Oh, there we go. MTS plus that center lock gets us through. Okay, well that's nice. Now we got the tabletop. Huh, wonder how this is gonna do when I get to the Anaconda on top. We'll find out. Okay, now we're gonna go up the steep part of the Sidewinder. We're just going to move forward. We have our center torsion locked at this point, which is basically the same as running in 4 high with something like a 4Runner that has a part-time 4-wheel drive system. And now let's just walk up if we can. Yeah, no problem at all. Nice. Okay, well now we're going to move on to, well, gotta get out of here first, I guess. After we get out of here, we're going to move on to the ladder, which is our really steep, I think it's about 28-degree incline. It's a very steep hill climb. And if we get through that, then we're going to move on to the Anaconda. So here we have the ladder. This maxes out at about 28 degrees. It's very steep. It is dry, so it could be a little slippery. And then about 3/4 of the way up on this first section, we actually have a ditch on the passenger side. So that can really kind of make things a little bit more challenging. Both the Grenadier and the Defender did just fine on this. The Defender had to struggle just a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. Let's see how this one does. Now this is of course highly dependent on tires, in addition to how good the 4-wheel drive system is. So we have the center locked. Let's go ahead and lock that rear axle as well. Oh, it's not letting me because I'm not in 4 low. Toyota's very picky about when they allow you to do rear lockers. Okay, so I'm in 4 low now. Now I'm going to turn on that rear locker. It's on, and we're just going to drive up. The MTS mode is going to be, let's just do auto. At this point in low, we have the choice of sand, mud, and rock. None of which actually apply to what we're doing here, so I'm climbing up. Oh yeah, no problem. No problem at all. Now, if I had, of course, engaged these features to begin with, then yeah, the Sidewinder also would have been a walk in the park. But where's the fun in that? And all the way to the top. This is slippery and steep, and yeah, no problem at all. Nicely done, GX. I mean, it's a very, very capable system. So the big difference between a torsion limited slip in this vehicle and what you would find in, say, a crossover where it has a clutch pack is that a clutch pack can overheat because it's actually using friction to vary the amount of power getting transferred. This is a hard locking gear set, so it's the same thing as having a proper lock in the middle all the time, but it still can vary power, which is very cool. Oop, a little rubbing there. So we were able to walk up that no problem. I think that bodes well for us to do the Anaconda. Let's give it a try. Of course, with every attempt, the trail gets chewed up more and more. And we just had the Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness on this, and it couldn't get in, but in the process of trying to get in, it dug a lot of trail out. So yeah, it kind of made this even more difficult. So we'll see how this goes. I'm in 4 low. I have the center lock. I have the rear locked. I'm going to keep MTS in auto because I think that's a good place to be. That's basically all we can do. Let's give it a try. Now I'm going to try to walk up with minimal wheel spin because once we start digging, that's when problems happen. Come on, we got this. Oh. Well, that didn't work. Let's roll back. I think we need a little more momentum. I am concerned about this nose though. We bumped it a lot on the prior parts of the trail. I do want to say though, the Defender did need a couple tries to get up this, and it has been torn up a lot since then. So I think it's actually more difficult now than it was before. Here we go. Let's do it. Little momentum, but not enough to smush the nose. Full throttle in. Up we go. Up we go. Yeah! Yeah! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Nicely done. Yeah, we're gonna just go up here, turn around, and we're gonna try the tough stuff. Ooh, a little bump there on the undercarriage. I will say the Defender scraped a lot more there though. Okay, let's do this. Here we have my favorite challenge section. We got a lot of deep ditches that we need to get through. Now I am in 4 low. I have the center torsion diff locked. I have the rear locker on. I'm gonna actually do this in crawl control. Let's see how that works. I'm gonna do crawl control low. This will automatically add throttle and braking for me as necessary. This vehicle has a system called EKDSS. What that means is that it's really good to drive on pavement. It has all the handling characteristics of a vehicle with anti-sway bars front and back. But when you get on the trail, it detects the flex and will actually like auto disconnect the sway bars. Now it's not exactly the same thing as that, but it's the same thing in effect. You basically get the articulation you need when you're off-road and you don't have to do anything. It's all automatic. Really good system. Very happy to see it on this particular vehicle. The Land Cruiser, which of course shares the same chassis, does not have that system. So I am using crawl control here. I am going to keep my foot off and on the brake as I approach, but I'm basically going to let this vehicle do most of the driving. I'm just going to keep an eye on my drive line. And you can see, dirty camera, you can see we have this great trail camera here that shows me where my wheels are. It's high resolution. It is a really nice setup. Okay, let's focus on what we're doing here. Now again, I just have my foot on the brake and I'm just using the brake pedal to basically drive the whole vehicle. Crawl is doing the rest. So I'm curious if we're going to dig any dirt up here. Now this dirt is not soft. It is really hard. And there are very large rocks in it. So we have to be really careful not to damage anything. Okay, doing pretty good so far. Going to scrape that, scrape the rear hitch there. Sorry, Lexus. Now we're going to go side to side. Hey, the Defender scraped the back too, so no worries. Put my foot on the brake, slow it down. Ooh, we have the side steps. I don't think we're gonna get up this. Let's see. So we're fully on the side steps. Oh, we are lifting up back here now. That's good. Are we gonna lift up on this side too? Okay, we are lifting now, so I think we'll be okay. Oh, the problem is we're leaning that side. Okay, we need a strategy here, so I think I'm gonna try to go left a little more. Maybe we won't have so much drag. There's a lot of tilt. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, it's just down in the middle where things get problematic. Okay, we're gonna now tilt this way. KDSS system automatically giving us the flex that we need. Actually, that's doing a really good job. Now, the benefit here of the new EKDSS is I can control each wheel independently. The previous system was actually hydraulic based. And when you're hydraulic based, you have to have an action to a reaction. It doesn't have to do that now. So it can basically do what's best for the vehicle. Okay, well, we got through that. I'm gonna rub again. Whew, that's a lot of rubbing. Oh, well, wheeling is rubbing. Okay, well, we got the big rock here on the right. I can see it on the camera really nicely. I'm going to see if we can crawl over this and get out. And I think, yeah, all that rubbing with the sideboard means we are not going into the upper section, just like the Defender couldn't go, and just like the Ineos Grenadier couldn't go because the version we had no lockers. Right. Well, that was fun. Now let's wrap this up. In this class of luxury off-roaders, the GX has a reputation as being extremely capable, but still accessible. I think that still holds true today. This is a very nicely equipped package with all the modern amenities you would expect. I still kind of hate the side steps. Those should be rock sliders on the Overtrail, but at least you can option proper sliders from Lexus at the time of purchase. So that's more of a complaint on how Lexus optioned this vehicle than with the GX as a whole. So overall, I really enjoy driving this GX. Now the next question is, would you get the GX or would you get the new Land Cruiser? that is a complicated subject, and I think it's worthy of its own video, so stay tuned for that. But I'm going to say for right now, if you're taking on even really rugged trails, the GX is very nicely equipped. You get the center locker, you get the rear locker, you don't get a front locker, but I think that's okay for the way this vehicle is marketed. It's not marketed as being an extreme rock crawler. You can do extreme things with it, but that's not its primary intent. It's a luxury vehicle that can get you down the trail and beyond. You have a washout? Okay, you can probably get through that because this thing has the capability. MTS, very capable. Crawl control makes off-roading easy. Overall, I really love this new GX. This thing isn't cheap, but I think that if you're comparing it versus the Grenadier, versus the Land Rover Defender, then I think it squares very nicely for the price. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share videos. We make them for you. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you enjoy this look at the all-new 2024 Lexus GX550 Overtrail.